Hey guys, it's Bill with Heritage Plumbing, and today we're going to talk about the top 3 problems that we see with the outdoor unit. Most problems with AC systems are about 90% electrical, and these are the top 3. This is a capacitor. It stores extra electrical energy to help jumpstart the compressor motor and the condenser fan motor. The capacitor has a certain range that it needs to be in to function properly. The range that it comes from the factory is 40 microfarads and 5 microfarads. The 40 microfarads is the terminal that helps jumpstart the compressor motor. The 5 microfarads is the one that helps jumpstart the condenser fan motor. Yours may vary. I've seen some that are 25 and 5 or as much as 60 and 5. Now to check these, you need to have a special electric meter that will read that unit of measure. It also has a variance of plus or minus 6%. So this could read down as low as 37.6 microfarads and still be considered within range. If it drops below that, it's considered below factory specs and a failed unit. So some typical signs to know that this is not working properly. One, the top of this can actually bulge out. It actually looks like a mushroom. And what happens is the inside expands, the contacts are released, and you won't have any readings on these top terminals. The other part is if the terminals are all completely rusted, the spade connectors on them are rusted, they're not making good contact, that's another sign that it's seen better life. The third is just age itself. These typically last 5 to 7 years of good, reliable life. After that, we find that they begin to fail. One way you can know you might have a problem with this is if you're trying to run your AC and the condenser fan motor is not turning on or the compressor is not turning on and you just have warm air blowing out of your ducts. This can have something to do with that. This is a typical contactor found in most AC systems. Some of the higher end systems have control boards that perform this function, but this is probably in 85% of your outdoor units. Typical life of a unit like this is about 5 to 7 years. When you turn on your thermostat for cooling, it activates this switch. This closes, and it allows power to come to the unit and power up the compressor and the condenser fan motor. Now this typically can fail in one of 2 ways. When this switch closes, it's constantly making contact at these points and there's a little arc. It'll actually burn up these points and make pits. If it gets bad enough, when this closes, it doesn't actually make contact, and thus power can't get through the switch to power the unit. If that happens, the fan and the compressor will not come on and you won't have AC. The other way that it can fail is it can actually weld itself closed. So if this stays closed, it's going to constantly power your outdoor unit. It'll run and run and run and not shut off. The only way to get it to shut off is either by tripping the circuit breaker at the panel or by pulling the outside disconnect. So the last thing that we see that typically goes wrong electrically with a unit is this. This is a condenser fan motor. This motor, when it's inside your unit, is in this orientation generally, and you have fan blades coming off of this. This unit helps expel the heat that's collected from the home and blows it up out of the unit. So one of the typical problems with this is we look for grease around this shaft on this surface. If we see grease here, we know we have a problem because this is supposed to be a sealed unit. So no grease should be getting out. If at that point that starts to happen, it's on its way out. It's closer to the end of its life than the beginning. Another issue that we look for is if you have what looks like a big rust mark on the side of the unit. It's not actually rust, it's actually heat damage from the unit losing its grease and running too hot, and it's damaging the inside of the motor. The motor still may run, but we cannot guarantee for how much longer. The typical reliable life for a unit like this is about 8 to 10 years depending on usage. Now, what can happen if this stops turning is that it has no way for the condenser to release the heat from your home. So all the heat builds up inside your condenser, and if left unchecked for too long, it could potentially damage the compressor as well. So the best way to check this is just take a peek at your unit to see if the fan blades are rotating. If they are not, and you can hear the compressor running, then turn off the unit and give us a call. So obviously this is a condensed version of some of the problems with the unit outside. It's not supposed to be an intensive diagnostic by any means, but just an education for you to understand a little bit better how your unit works. If you do experience any of these problems, you can go to our website, www.justcallheritage.com, and we have all kinds of information up there. Or you can call the office and schedule to have a tech come out.